Hello again, this is Alan Stevens welcoming you to The Media Coach, and this week, what I learned from Taekwondo. You want to be in this show? Fats Domino, Slurping Noodles, Knowing When to Stop, Thinking Like a Reporter, What to Put in Your Blog, an interview with Tim Campbell and music from the 1957 Tail-Fin Fiasco. Well, my stint at the World Taekwondo GP Grand Prix turned out to be fascinating. I was sitting courtside to watch the likes of Jade Jones and Lauren Williams win their events. I also inadvertently broadcast on the live YouTube stream. I was sitting next to the streaming camera, not realising it had a microphone in it and it was picking up my conversation. But luckily I kept it clean. Most scary of all was when the video replays I was filming were shown on the big screen in the arena and live on the BBC coverage. But luckily again, I had perfect shots every time. But it was a bit of a worry, I can tell you. Anyway, back to calmer times this week. As ever, I'm off to see some singers and bands, and I'm sure some of them will end up in this show. If you have any suggestions for me, always happy to take a listen. And if you have a business lesson to share or know somebody who does, I'm looking to book interview guests for next year. Just send me an email, alan@mediacoach.co.uk, and we'll have a chat. This week's guest is the first winner of The Apprentice, Tim Campbell. What does he think about the show? Tim, you were the first winner of The Apprentice, which is quite a thing for you. What do you think of the way the show's going these days?
I think what The Apprentice shows is that with a level playing field, anybody can achieve what they want if they work really hard, which is the important message that comes out of this show for me personally. Whether you get involved in the characters, the tasks, or Alan and his pointy finger telling people you're fired, the fundamental aspect for The Apprentice is that it inspires the next generation to think about business as a potential opportunity for them. And I think it's an empowering thing.
So how would you characterise your experience on the show?
My experience on the show was life-changing. I came from a very public sector background, not really understanding what the commercial world was really about. And to be thrown into a scenario where there was a number of individuals who had lived in the commercial world, earned significantly more than what the job was offering, had been entrepreneurs in their own right, for me it was really, really good to be able to compete with them and also to beat them in some situations and to prove from a self-confidence perspective I had as much as they had, although I didn't have the qualifications or the same life experience.
So what was it that saw you through against all that sort of odds?
I think the key things that saw me through on The Apprentice was about maintaining my integrity and dignity and just being very focused on the prize. I didn't care about the egos, I didn't care about the challenges from other people. All I knew is that I had to please Sir Alan in order to get the job. That was it. And for me, that just kept me focused.
And since you've left Sir Alan's employ now,
correct, I've left.
What are you doing now?
I've got 3 separate endeavours. My first is a male grooming organisation that we're working on with regards to personal branding, but also cosmetics and attire. Then we've got a networking club for high-level CEOs and senior executives in an organisation and powerful people in academia, bringing them all together in a suitable environment. And finally, I've got a registered charity that helps young people start up their own businesses. Many people talk about philanthropy and you have to make a lot of money first before you can get involved in it. I believe that's a nonsense. I've got an altruistic desire to help individuals, and I'm using my profile, for want of a better word, in order to take that forward.
Excellent. I mean, how can people find out more about what you do? You've got some websites?
Yes, the best way to find out what we do from an altruistic side is thebrightideastrust.com. It details all the stuff that we're doing, some of the corporate partners we're working with, and one of the reasons why I'm here to take one on today is to try and to encourage more businesses to engage with community activities, because it's much more than just about ticking a social responsibility box. It's about engaging your employees and your brand with something that's really, really powerful.
Excellent, Tim. Thanks for your time today.
Much appreciated.
Tim Campbell there. Things have moved on quite a bit since he won the show, haven't they? Media Master and Media Mug time, and the Media Master this week is a musical legend, Fats Domino. He died this week and he was arguably the first rock and roll singer. Back in 1949 he released a single called The Fat Man, and Elvis Presley proclaimed him the real king of rock and roll. In fact, he was really a brilliant boogie-woogie pianist, and his hit singles included Ain't That a Shame, I'm Walking, Blue Monday, I'm in Love Again, and of course Blueberry Hill. His signature song, which was actually a cover of a 40s jazz standard recorded by Glenn Miller. What a man, we'll miss him a lot. The Media Mug Trophy goes to a Japanese food company that has developed a noise-cancelling fork to take away the slurp from eating noodles. I'm not making this up, honestly. The fork uses a microphone to detect offending slurps and then triggers a smartphone app to mask the sound. You can judge for yourself whether the chosen sound of soothing flowing water emitted by their phone is any less embarrassing than a slurp. But anyway, they haven't sent any out yet, but they're saying if 5,000 orders come in, the Nissin Food Products Company will start shipping the smart forks, but I suspect they'll probably stay in the warehouse. Speaking tip, this is a good one, knowing when to stop. Despite the fact that audiences will say about a great speaker, I wish they could have gone on speaking for longer, they don't really mean it. The old adage about leaving your audience wanting more is very true. A great speech has a great start, a great message, and a great finish. When you rehearse, make sure that you time your speech carefully. When you speak to an audience, keep an eye on your pacing to make sure you'll finish on time or even a few seconds early. Just as you memorise your opening lines, you should memorise your close as well. Don't stumble to a close or find yourself with 10 minutes material and 3 minutes left. Never ever tell the audience, I had more to tell you but I've run out of time. They will quite rightly feel cheated. If an external event, such as a lengthy interruption, causes your time to be limited, you should finish with a strong conclusion inside the time. That's what a professional does. If you take questions at the end of your talk, close crisply again at the end of the Q&A session. When you reach closing time, signal it to your audience by pacing or by a pause. I've never seen the principal violinist hold up a sign at a concert that says end of symphony coming up. You know when it's going to end, and so should your audience. Now, speaking of somebody who delights an audience, I know that's a bit of a loose segue, but never mind. Here they are, the 1957 Tail-Fin Fiasco.
I'll ever see. Hey, do you carry the secrets of Mr. J. Solomon Rary? Will you whisper them to me while I break your back? Do you know where this hide's gonna take us? To the last best place you'll ever see. He's no two-bit Bobby Dazzler, don't wear Batwing chaps of steel. There's no silver in his spurs, and no Cuban in his heels. Just look at him go, he's Montana's toughest now. Come on, Tuckers Inc., take a bow. Come on, Tuckers Inc., take a bow. Whoa, there's no call for Flint, 'cause this wild thing is played. I don't need fashion tiptoe, I wear sneakers. Do you see where this ride's gonna take us? To the last best place we'll ever see. He's no two-bit Bobby Dazzler, don't wear Batwing chaps of steel. There's no silver in his spurs, and no Cuban in his heels. Just look at him go, he's Montana's toughest now. Come on, Tuckers Inc., take a bow. Come on, Tuckers Inc., take a bow. Easy now, stay right there. You're Montana's toughest now. He's no two-bit Bobby Dazzler, don't wear Batwing chaps of steel. There's no silver in his spurs, no Cuban in his heels. Just look at him go, he's Montana's toughest now. Come on, Tuckers Inc., take a bow. Come on, Tuckers Inc., take a bow.
So there they are, the 1957 Tail-Fin Fiasco. I'm not even going to attempt to give you their website. If you look up 1957 Tail-Fin, you'll find them on Bandcamp. And by the way, they're going to be playing at the Wanstead Tap in East London in a couple of weeks' time, a couple of Fridays' time. I'll see you there. Tickets are £5. Look up Wanstead Tap, click on tickets, and hopefully I will see you there. They're playing with a guy called Mick Terry as well. It's going to be a brilliant night. Now, our media tip of the week, think like a reporter. If you want to see your name or your company name in print, ask yourself the question, if I was a reporter, would I run this story? Then ask yourself, if I was a viewer or listener, would I think this story was relevant to me? And only if the answer to both questions is a resounding yes, do you have any chance at all of getting your story out there. Even if the story fits perfectly, it may be the wrong time. There may be too much other news, or a similar story may have run recently. That's the way it goes. You can't win them all. In order to think like a reporter, you need to study what they do. Read articles to see how a story develops and how it links to the interest of readers. Watch the TV news to see how the key points are illustrated and conveyed in seconds. With video in particular, you need to use it to make the audience feel part of what's happening. An exercise I often do with clients is to give them a video camera and ask them to imagine they're a reporter delivering a story. They often stand in front of the camera and tell the story. That doesn't work. You need to use setup shots, voiceovers and pieces to camera to engage. Try it yourself. If it works, you'll know you've got a good story to pitch to a journalist. Social media tip, it's about blogging. What should I put in my blog, some people ask, and the most obvious answer is engaging content. If you want people to leave with a good impression, you've got to give them value. Your blog has to be interesting, but more importantly, has to give the reader something they can use or think about. It could be video, pictures, audio, text, but it all needs to be there for a reason. It's very important in all forms of communication to consider your audience. However fascinating you may find pictures of pre-war doorstops, unless you've got an audience that likes them too, it's pointless including them. The easiest way to find out what works is to watch the comments you receive. They will tell you what they're interested in. And if people read blogs at all, and many people don't, it's unlikely they'll read more than a few, maybe 5 to 10. Given that there are millions of blogs out there, you've got to think carefully about how you can make your blog a must-read. Engaging content is valuable, inspiring, or thought-provoking, and hopefully all three. It helps if you're interested in what you write. Otherwise, your readers will sense that and move on. And ideally, you should be passionate about it. Your passion will come through in the way you express yourself, and you'll get a loyal following. Also, give yourself plenty of time to write. A post that's been dashed off in a hurry will be obvious and indicates a lack of respect for your readers. Remember, some people will be there for the first time, and you should offer them something too. I recommend a first-timer's guide, including links to important posts and outlining your philosophy. Make sure it's visible on every page of your blog by including a box about it in the sidebar. It's easy to do. You should do it. So there we are. Put engaging content in your blogs and you will find you'll gradually build a readership. Now, do you need to make a speech? Well, you know I can help. And you know where to look. mediacoach.co.uk. Click on the link that says Exceptional Speaking. So there we are. That's it for another week. My thanks go to Tim Campbell and the 1957 Tail-Fin Fiasco. This is Alan Stevens, the Media Coach, saying if you have been, thanks for listening.